So just getting comfortable again on your mat, wherever you are. Maybe you want to sit, maybe you want to lay down. Either option is totally fine. Maybe starting to close your eyes if that feels good for you. Feel free to keep them open if that feels better. And then again, as I always like to say at the start of our class, at any point you want to continue moving, I encourage you to do so. And anytime you want to focus on being still, I encourage you to do so. Remembering that you have the power to choose whatever feels best for your body today as we move through our practice. Maybe taking your gaze down or closing your eyes and just shifting your focus in, internal here, checking in with your body and your mind and just how you're doing today, how you're feeling today. Thinking of yourself as that observer, maybe starting from your feet all the way up to the crown of your head. Being mindful of any places that you're noticing might be holding any tension, and remembering to give those places a little extra love and care today. As you start to tune into your breath, I invite you to think about your diaphragmatic breath. So that deep belly breath. If you want to, on your back or seated, you can place one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. Maybe focusing on that physical sensation. As you inhale through the nose, the belly inflates like a balloon, feeling the abdominal muscles engage. And then as you exhale, relaxing and releasing from the chest back down to the belly. So starting to engage our breath and our diaphragm. Our diaphragm is one of our best core muscles that we can engage simply by breathing. Maybe as you inhale, think about lengthening your spine. And as you exhale, maybe lengthening your exhale a little bit longer. If you want, you can add a count of 3 or 4 to this. Letting go of any expectations, letting go of any competition, and suspending all judgment of ourselves and others. Simply listening to our bodies as we move through our practice today, remembering again that we are in control of our practice and we have the options to choose the best option that feels best for our bodies. When you're ready, all we're going to do is make our way down to our backs in that supine position. If we're not there already, we can take our hands by our sides. Knees can be bent or straight. As we start to engage some movement here with our breath, let's inhale, bringing our arms up and overhead, maybe stopping at the shoulders, maybe reaching all the way up and over. And as we exhale, we bring the hands back down by the sides. Just continuing that movement here. Maybe checking in with how the shoulders are feeling. Maybe bringing the arms and sweeping them out to the sides if that feels better for us today, creating that big circle around our body. Once again, as we inhale, finding length in our spine. Feeling the belly rise, maybe the rib cage rise. And then exhaling, pressing our spine back down onto the mat. Let's take 2 more deep breaths here. On your next inhale, let's slowly take our hands out to the sides in that T position so that your palms are lifted, your elbows are on the mat, arms extended from the shoulder. All we're going to do is bend our elbows from our elbows, so bending into that 90-degree angle so that our palms are up. As we inhale, slowly rotating from the shoulder, elbows stay down. All we're doing is pressing our palms down towards the ground, only going as far enough as it feels good for us today. As we exhale, we can release and bring the back of the palm towards the floor. So we're getting some rotational movement in our shoulders here, engaging through our scapula as well. Just checking in with our shoulders, how they're feeling today. Taking this mindful movement. Not putting any pressure on our body to reach all the way to the floor, just checking in, maybe even noticing if one side has greater range of motion than the other. We'll take one more round of this movement pattern here. And then when we're ready, we can release our hands all the way down to our sides, grabbing onto our hamstrings under our knee and bringing our knees into our chest. From here, maybe rocking it side to side, massaging through the low back, almost like we're giving our body a little hug here. When you're ready, we'll bring our knees up to that tabletop position. So shins are parallel to the floor, knees come right over our hips, and we'll take our arms out to the sides. As we slowly drop our knees over to the right side, we can hover them over the floor or drop them all the way down or maybe to our block. As we inhale, we bring our knees back to center. Our spine is back on the mat. And as we exhale, we drop our knees to the left. So we're just getting in that nice rotational movement in our lower back, our lumbar spine, as well as engaging through our internal and external obliques. If you're wanting to explore a little more heat in the body today, as you lower your knees, maybe you extend your top leg, keeping the knees hovering, and then bringing them back to center. We'll take one more round on each side. Once again, option to lower the knees all the way to the floor, or if you hover them there, you start to feel the deep core muscles engage a little bit more. When you're ready, bringing your knees to that tabletop position, all we're going to do is reach our arms straight overhead. Belly button to spine here. So as we inhale, expanding through our rib cage, and as we exhale, pressing our belly button to our spine, engaging our pelvic floor, all we're going to do is move into a little bit of core work in opposition. So as we lower the right foot to the floor, the foot taps, the left arm reaches up and over. We inhale, come back to center. Exhaling, left foot taps down, right arm reaches over. So this move's called dead bug. So if you want a nice little visual for it, tapping the toe, opposite arm reaches, really thinking about slow and controlled motions here. If it feels good for you in this bent position, you're welcome to extend the leg all the way out. Ooh, you can say good afternoon, hip flexors, right? Moving nice and slow here, opposite arm, opposite leg. So it's just one arm, one leg at a time. Awesome, y'all. Let's take one more on each side. Really starting to feel that warmth building in the core. And then we'll bring our knees into our chest, rock side to side. Nice little rest pose here. Bringing our feet to the ground in front of us, hands by the sides, palms down. As we inhale, once again, expanding through our rib cage. As we exhale, engaging our core muscles, our lower abs. We bring our hips up to the sky, pressing into our feet, moving into bridge. As we inhale, we lift. And as we exhale, we lower down. Starting to engage our back body here. So our posterior chain, our hamstrings, glutes, and low back muscles. Pressing into all of our toes here. Pressing into our heels as we lift. We'll take two more rounds of our bridge flow. Also, as we move here, we're opening up through the front of the body. So opening through the hip flexor and the front thigh, the quad as well. Last one here, as we inhale, let's lift up to the top and hold our bridge. Can you press down into your feet even more here? Maybe press out to the sides of the feet a little bit. Shifting to our right foot, can we lift our left heel? The toes are down. Pressing into that right foot, the hips stay high. From here, we lift the left leg. And then we slowly release. This time shifting, so pressing into the left foot, engaging the glutes, hips are lifted, the right heel lifts, and then the right leg lifts, the hips stay stable. So working on that lumbopelvic stability in this opposite leg lift. One more time on each side, the hips are lifted, core engaged. We lift the left foot up, option to extend to the sky. And exhaling, releasing. Inhaling, pressing into the left foot. We lift the right leg to the sky, opposite option to extend. And then releasing both feet down, we slowly lower our spine back down to our mat, walking our feet to the long edges of the mat. Hands might come a little wider. All we're gonna do is drop the knees side to side. Nice little rotational movement for our spine, for our hip flexors, our low back. Feeling free to hold one side or the other if it feels good. And then when we're ready, we'll come back to center, bringing our knees into the chest. We can roll ourselves up, lifting our head if we'd like, or we can drop our knees over to one side using our arm to press ourselves up. Awesome. Shifting around to our quadruped position, so all fours, hands and knees. Our hands come under our shoulders, knees under our hips. Remember that little trick that I talked to y'all about last week? So we have that internal rotation right here, external rotation through the forearm. Spreading our fingers, moving into our cat and cow. So starting with our hips, our belly drops, our chest and heart lift, our head lifts as we inhale, exhale, chin to chest, rounding through the spine into our cat. Just moving this at your own pace here. Finding a nice maybe rhythm, adding in anything else that might feel good in your cat and cow here. Really great movement for spinal mobility. So getting that big range of flexion and extension in our spine. We'll take 2 more rounds of our cat and cow. And then we'll come back to the center with our nice strong core brace. From here, all we're gonna do is press into our left hand. As we inhale, we bring the right fingertips up to the temple, opening up to the side. Eye gaze goes towards our elbow. Exhale, the right elbow comes across to the left side. Inhale, option here to reach all the way up to the sky if that feels good. Exhale, threading the needle under. Another option I like here is if you want to, you can come down to your forearm. So maybe the left forearm is down. As we inhale, we can lift up. And as we exhale, we can thread it under and through. So hand or forearm, I know sometimes this can cause tension on the wrists. So feel free to drop to the forearm. Last time here, as we inhale, we'll bring our hand back to tabletop, either here on the forearms or up on the hands, moving to the left side. So pressing into the right, engaging through the core, left fingertips to the temple. As we inhale, we open to the left. Exhale, elbow comes across. So now we're getting that nice rotation in our thoracic spine, our mid back. Option to reach the hand up to the sky. Taking 3 more rounds here at your own pace with your breath. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to our all fours, hands and knees. Awesome. Maybe shaking out your wrists if you'd like here. Coming back to that position when you're ready. This time we're going to press into our right hand and our left knee. So right hand, left knee pressing into the ground. When we do this, we should feel the core muscles fire up. As we reach our left arm, or sorry, our right arm and our left leg, so opposite side, for our bird dog pose, lengthening from fingers to toes, arm and hip and shoulder all in line, exhaling, releasing. We'll switch sides. So first pressing into that left knee, right hand, and we inhale to lengthen and we exhale to lower. So just alternating our sides, this time really thinking about that opposite knee and hand on the mat. Can you press down into the mat? That's going to create that grounding, stabilizing sensation before we extend the opposite hand and the opposite arm. Finding a nice flow with your breath. We'll take one more round on each side. And then when you're ready, coming back to your all fours, walking your knees to the long edges of the mat. Tops of the feet sit back, hips towards the heels. We find our child's pose, whichever option of child's pose you'd like. So maybe the arms are extended, head's on the mat. We can also find our block to rest our head on, especially because I know it's allergy season. So if you're feeling any of that sinus pressure. Remembering child's pose is a great option for rest pose that you can come into at any class, at any point in class, but you can also come into any other rest pose that might be better suited for you. As we inhale, let's extend our arms in front of us, shift our body forward to our plank position. So we're still thinking of that, the hand position of our quadruped, but our knees are back and our hips are forward. So core muscles engaged in our plank. Elbows nice and soft, shoulders back. So we're pressing through the hands. As we exhale, little yoga push-up, elbows come in. Inhale, press back up. Exhale, child's pose. So that's option one, if that feels good for you today. Inhale, we'll shift forward. Option two, if you'd like, is to come all the way down. Elbows skim by the rib cage. Inhale, press back up to plank. And exhale, child's pose. Option three, if you'd like, inhale, coming forward. Exhaling, lowering down. Inhaling, tops of the feet on the mat. We can lift up to our baby cobra. Hands lift. Exhale, child's pose. Taking whichever option feels good for you today. Chaturanga is not required, only if it feels good for you. We'll just do 2 of these half series. And then we'll meet back in child's pose. From our child's pose, if we'd like to explore downward facing dog, we can tuck our toes, lift our hips up to the side, maybe bending the knees, right and left. Remembering that down dog is also optional. You can always stay in child's pose. From your child's pose or your down dog, we'll just walk our feet to our hands, finding our way to the top of our mat in that forward fold position. So knees are soft here. Maybe you want to take some knee bends, bend them right and left. Maybe you want to grab opposite elbows. Maybe shake your head yes and no, relaxing through the neck. Thinking about knees nice and soft in our forward fold. As we inhale, we lift up to find our halfway lift or our flat back. Shoulders back, spine long. Exhale, softening and folding. One more time, inhale, half lift. Exhaling, forward fold. This time, inhale, reverse swan dive. Arms lift to the sky if it feels good. And exhale, sitting back into your chair pose. So weights in the heels, knees in line with toes. One more big inhale, lifting to our Uttiti Tadasana. Exhaling, option in our chair, the arms can extend. Moving through our full sun salutations. Inhale, let's lift and lengthen. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, lifting to our flat back. Exhaling, we fold. Stepping back to find our plank, knees or toes. Remembering our options here, 1, 2, 3, 4 in your chaturanga or not. Inhaling maybe up to your full cobra or up dog. Exhale, child's pose or down dog. Inhaling, stepping to the top of the mat, finding your forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair. Inhaling, we lift. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, lengthen the spine. Exhale, soften and fold. Stepping back to find your plank, knees pose. And then taking your options from your plank, maybe up dog cobra, exhale, down dog child's pose. Stepping to the top of your mat as you inhale. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, reverse swan dive. Exhale, chair pose. Excellent. Moving through your sun salutations, we're just going to do 1 or 2 times. Remembering the goal of our sun salutations is to move the breath to all of our muscles that we're going to be utilizing in our practice today. Remembering any options that we want to take. Finishing off wherever you are in your sun salutations, your last round. And we're going to just meet at the top of our mat in mountain pose today. So you can step to the top of your mat, lunge to the top of your mat, just making your way there, no rush. And once we get there, we'll take our eye gaze towards the ground in front of us. Knees nice and soft, palms forward, big shoulder roll. Excellent. From our mountain pose, all we're doing is taking our big toes to touch so that there's a sliver of light that passes through the backs of the feet. So maybe the knees come towards each other. We'll inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, sit back to find our chair pose. So weight is in the heels, core muscles engaged, so heavy tailbone. From here, we take our right hand to our low back and our left hand to our right thigh as we look over to the right, finding that twist in our chair. Option here, if we'd like, we can sink deeper into it and take our left elbow across our thigh with our hands at heart center. And then the third option, if it feels good for you, is to open your arms to the side. Any option is good. I know for me, it depends on the day, which feels good. So maybe you're in the same place. Maybe what you do today is different than what you normally do. Bringing our hands back to heart center wherever they are. We inhale, come back to center. Exhaling, standing up to release into your mountain pose. Maybe rolling the shoulders, keeping your big toes to touch. We'll move into our other side. As we inhale, we lift. Exhaling, sinking down into our chair. This time, turning over our left shoulder, right hand comes to the thigh, left hand to the low back for support. Knees together, hips down, and then taking whichever option feels good for you. Maybe noticing the heart rate start to pick up. Always checking in with how the body is responding and feeling. If there's any pain, that's probably a sign it's saying no. So maybe coming back to a different option. Taking one more round of breath here. As we exhale, we release our hands back to heart center. Inhaling, coming back to the top. And then exhaling, we'll release, stepping out into our mountain pose. From here, inhaling, lifting to our extended mountain. As we exhale, swan dive, forward fold. From here, stepping back with our right foot, left foot forward, it's a low lunge. From here, we'll lower the right knee to the floor. Knees in line with toes. The right hand can come inside of the left foot. We can also place it on the block if that feels good. And we'll just take a little twist over our left shoulder. So lots of twisting we're getting today in our yoga practice. Really great for massaging the muscles, massaging our organs, getting our digestive system going, benefiting our immune system. Option, if we'd like, we can reach the left arm up to the sky. We can also tuck the toes on the right foot and lift the right knee. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, releasing the hand to the front, we'll frame our feet with our hands as we step the right foot forward to find a warrior one stance. So the whole foot's on the floor, left knee is bent as we come up. Excellent. Bending through the left knee. Here we feel a nice calf stretch in our right leg. Hands at heart center, shoulders relaxed. If we'd like, we can inhale, lifting our arms up to the sky, relaxing the shoulders down and back. Taking one more big inhale here to find length. As we exhale, we hinge from our hips, sweeping the arms back to find humble warrior. Nice long spine here. Now we start to feel the calf, the hamstring talking even a little bit more. Hands can also come back to heart center or stay soft on the thigh, core muscles engaged. I love this pose because we feel a strength and a stretch. So strengthening through the left front leg and stretching through the back right leg. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we're pressing into the left foot, finding our balance as we move forward into our one-legged Tadasana. So the right knee lifts, hands come to heart center. Little balance challenge, little ankle stability. From here, can we lift our right knee? Can we bring our hands down by our sides? And from here, our left arm lifts. Ooh, little opposition. From here, can we take our left hand towards the inside of our thigh and our right hand reaches over to the right. Our eye gaze might follow it. So little balance challenge. We can tap our block at any time if that helps. Finding our breath here. One more inhale. As we come back, we exhale and release the foot down to the floor, rolling out the right ankle. Awesome job, y'all. Let's inhale, reach up to the sky, lengthening our spine. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. This time, stepping back a big step with the left foot, finding our low lunge. I like to always start with my knee down, knees in line with toes, left hand inside of the right foot or maybe on the block. We exhale, finding a nice twist. So the block can be in any position if we want to be more upright. Option again to reach the arm up to the sky, maybe tucking the toe and lifting the knee. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we release the hands to frame the foot. We lift the left knee hip square. We step in, finding our warrior one stance. I like to make my feet a little wider as I come up. Wider, narrow, whatever feels good for you. Maybe shorter stance on one side. Adjusting here. Bending our right knee as we lean into this strength work on our right side. Arms reach up to the sky. As we inhale, we lengthen. As we exhale, hinging from our hips, arms sweep back for our humble warrior. So in this pose, can you challenge yourself to squeeze between the shoulder blades? We're retracting the shoulder blades. We're bracing our core, finding a nice long neutral spine. So the right knee is soft and bent. Yep, like you're gonna press into that right foot. Taking one more big inhale. As we exhale, we peel the left toes off the floor, stepping to the top of our mat, finding that one-legged Tadasana. Now we can always test our balance here, right? Maybe softening our right knee, maybe flexing through the foot. I find that helps a little bit more, pointing, flexing. Lifting the left knee up to hip height, we feel the hip flexors turn on. Left hand reaches down, right arm reaches up. Maybe finding a spot on the floor for balance. And then from here, the right hand comes down to the inside of the leg. We can grab onto it or just press onto it, either option. The left arm comes forward and out to the side as we take our eye gaze to follow our hand. Still finding our breath here. If it feels like you have less stability on one side, that's definitely normal. I also do. This side is my not so good ankle. Taking one more inhale. Exhaling, releasing the hand back to center, lowering the leg, shaking it out. Maybe you feel some work in the hips there. Don't worry, we're going to stretch them out before we cool it down. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling, swan dive, forward fold. Maybe taking some knee bends here. Releasing through the glutes, the hips. When you're ready, we'll make our way back to find down dog or child's pose. Taking a few deep breaths here, maybe enjoying this nice calf and hamstring release. As we inhale from either our down dog or child's pose, we'll lift our right leg to the sky for three-legged dog, or it's like three-legged quadruped, right? Pressing into the hands, exhaling, we pull the knee forward and through to find that low lunge once again. Walking the right foot to the edge of the mat, we'll walk our right hand in, meeting in lizard pose. Option to find your block. I like my block here. And if you want to, you can come all the way down onto your forearms. Totally up to you. Maybe taking your eye gaze down towards the top of your mat, relaxing your shoulders, relaxing your jaw. Maybe letting the right foot roll out to the side. Your breath should be coming nice and easy here. So slowing it down and finding that three-part breath. Maybe inhaling for 3 or 4, exhaling for 3 or 4. Finding ease in this pose. Taking one more round of breath. As you exhale, walking your hands back up to the top, we'll bring our right foot in line with our hips, right hand to the outside. All we're going to do is shift back into that nice hamstring stretch. So holding it here, we can walk the right foot forward as well if that feels good. Maybe curling the toes in, maybe pointing and flexing. Maybe you want to move forward and backward with the hips, another option. Whatever feels best for you here, moving or holding, it's up to you. Hands can also come up to our block. We'll take one more round of breath here. As we exhale, hinging forward, pressing our hips to the top of the mat. And then I like to bring my right hand back in, swinging my right leg back around, coming into my child's pose or down dog. To reset our hips here, taking a few deep breaths. All we're going to do is press ourselves back into either down dog or stay in child's pose. Inhale, the left leg comes high. So option here from child's pose. Exhale, we pull the left leg forward and through to find our low lunge. Walking the left foot to the outside of the mat, left hand in, meeting in our lizard on the other side. Once again, taking whatever option feels best for you. Maybe coming all the way down to the forearms, maybe letting the knee roll to the side. Taking 2 more rounds of breath here, wherever we are. As we exhale, we'll walk ourselves back up to our hands. Left hand comes to the outside of the left leg. And then we just shift back into our hamstring stretch. Sometimes what we do when we hold our pose is we occlude the blood. So if you want to get that nice, fresh, oxygenated blood flowing back that spot that might be holding tension, you can also shift forward and backward in that pose. So I always say, feel free to move or feel free to hold. Taking one more round of breath here. As we exhale, all we're going to do is bring our left foot back and around, coming to our final child's pose of class. Gathering our breath here, maybe releasing our hips, maybe opening the knees a little wider. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly walk our hands up towards our head, shifting around to bring our legs towards the front. We'll extend our left leg, keep our right knee in as we use it as a brake to slowly lower ourselves back down onto our backs. We're moving into our last and final pose of the day. So you have options here. I'm going to show you both. If you'd like, you can keep this right knee in. We're moving into our supine spinal twist. If you'd like, you can extend your right arm, bring the right leg across the body in that one leg supine spinal twist. If it feels better for you, you're welcome to bring both knees in, arms come out nice and wide, and then you can lower your knees to the left side. You can also lower the knees to the blocks. Whichever option feels best for you. We're going to do both sides. Starting to slow down your breathing. Once again, finding that 3-part breath. As we're compressing one side of our body, maybe even thinking about finding our breath on that right side of our body. Maybe inhaling into the right lung, the right rib cage. And then when we're ready, we'll slowly release our knees back to center. If we have one, we can extend and switch. This time, left knee comes in. As we exhale, we twist, letting the knees fall over to our right side. Left arm extends. Now we're finding our breath in our heart center as we inhale, thinking about inhaling to our heart. Exhaling back down to the belly. Taking 2 more rounds of nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly bring our knees back to center, our hips back to our mats. Taking any last and final poses here. Maybe we want to bring the knees to the chest, grabbing onto the hamstrings, little rock side to side to reset our hips. And then we'll meet for final relaxation. Lots of options here. So if you'd like, you can extend your legs, hands by your side, feet together, knees together. You can lay on your side, you can lay on your belly, whatever position is going to be the most comfortable and bring the most sense of that relaxation to your body. Maybe starting to close the eyes once again, or finding that focal point on the ceiling or the floor. Starting to think about those deep breaths, inhaling from the belly up into the chest, and exhaling from the chest back down to the belly. Starting to wiggle your fingers and toes, just bringing that awareness back into your body, into your space. Whenever you're ready, you're welcome to bring your knees back into your chest. You can roll over onto your favorite side using your arm as a pillow. And then as you start to get adjusted, you can use your hand to press yourself up, coming back to that seated position. So sit up nice and tall, taking one more collective breath together as we inhale, reaching our arms up to the sky. And as we exhale, gathering our breath, all that positive energy into our heart center. We end our practice saying something together if you'd like. That just means I honor, see, and observe the light in each and every one of you. It is also within me. Namaste. Thank y'all so much for practicing with me. If you're in here, I have wipes over here in the corner for your mats. If you're on Zoom, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time.